Hello everybody, welcome to the 5 Minutes PM podcast. Today I like to continue the concept of line of balance. Last week I used an engineering, a very simple but an engineering example about building houses and painting houses, and where I could demonstrate the concept of the line of balance. Line of balance is very much applied when you have repetitive work, when something is repetitious through the project, and also when you have a link between two tasks. So last week I used carpenters building wooden houses and painters painting these houses. The painters were faster than the carpenters. Then you had a problem because the painters started to become idle with time. Now I want to use a different example. Let's suppose you have an election and your project is to count the votes, to decide who is the new governor, the new president, the new mayor. And let's suppose that you have only 100 ballot boxes and you have two teams and two tasks. One team is to count the votes. The second team is just to review the counting. The team that is counting the votes, they can count 10 ballot boxes per day. Why they can count 10? Because they need to open the paper, they need to organize the paper and then count. The reviewers, when they get the material, they get everything prepared. So it's much faster and easier. So they can review 20 ballot boxes per day. So of course, if they start at the same day, around 12 noon, they are with no work to do because they already reviewed the first ballot. Let's suppose that you can do something like very fast process of transferring the counting to the reviews. So what the line of balance will give to you? The line of balance, if you plot these two lines, so take a paper and draw on the X, day, and mark from 1 to 10. On the Y, you put ballots from 1 to 100, Then, of course, the counting is very simple. Starting on the 0, you just put every day with 10. So you draw a line from first day 10, second day 20, third day 30, up to the 10th day where you will reach 100. The review has twice the inclination of the first one, the counting. So the best point is to start on day 5. Because if you start reviewing on day 5, these 5 days from 5 to 10, they will review 100. And you will not have anybody idle with no work to be done. So this is the concept. So every time you have two lines, you need to understand if they are related, they cannot cross each other. Because if they cross means the successor will become idle. Because they need to wait. For example, the reviewers will become with no work. Why? Because people are still counting. So you have this balance, so you need to see. And the best option, if you are thinking on a fast-paced work, is to have two lines in parallel, very close to each other. Because they do not cross, but they are very, very close. The best way of doing this on this case is starting on day 5. Or maybe 5.5, just to have the gap to transfer. The second option, of course, is to increase the number of people counting. So instead of counting 10, you're counting 15 or 20. Then you will speed up the process because the critical problem is to count, not to review. Or maybe you can release people from the review group and slow them down so they can work for 10 days. So this is very, very important for you to calculate how the labor is assigned to the work. And if this requires a payment, it's very important because the way you build these balance lines will increase or reduce your expenditures. And this is a great tool for you when you have this repetitious work. It's a great tool because then you can optimize, and it's all about optimization. when we talk about good project management applied to the projects. So how we can optimize the results. So this is something very simple, and it's something that you have in your Swiss arm knife for your next project or for your current project. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and see you next week with another 5 Minutes PM podcast.